In today's video, I will show you how to set up a free private AI server using a Raspberry Pi and run open source large language models with Ollama and OpenWEB UI. We are going to focus on creating a lightweight AI chatbot server powered by models like DeepSeek R1, TinyLlama, and much more. The only requirements of this video: you need a Raspberry Pi with 4 gigs of RAM or higher, a MicroSD of at least 32 GB or higher, an official power supply, a CPU cooler installed on your Pi, and lastly, a computer to flash the SD card. It's time to flash an operating system onto the SD card. Open your web browser and go to this link and download and install the Raspberry Pi imager. I'm using Mac, so I choose the version for Mac OS. Once it's installed, launch the software and connect the SD card to your computer. Now choose Devices and select Raspberry Pi, then choose OS. Now for the sake of simplicity, I will use Raspberry Pi OS 64-bit Lite Edition. You can also use the Ubuntu Server operating system. Then click on the storage device and choose your SD card. When installing the Lite Edition of Raspberry OS, it's essential to enable the SSH. This allows you to remotely connect to Raspberry Pi from another computer on the same network. To do this, click Next and select this option to customize settings. Then set hostname to identify your Raspberry Pi on the network. For example, I will set mine to Raspberry Pi. Next, configure the username and password. For instance, you could use Pi as the username. You also have the option to enable wireless LAN by providing a valid SSID and password, which will allow the Pi to automatically connect to Wi-Fi after each reboot. However, for a more stable internet connection, I recommend using Ethernet cable instead. After that, set your local preferences. Finally, click Services and enable SSH. Once everything is configured, click Write to flash the Raspberry Pi OS onto the SD card. Then remove the SD card from your computer and insert it into your Raspberry Pi. Now connect the power supply and turn it on. To connect to the Raspberry Pi from a remote computer, open Terminal and type this command to find the Pi's IP address. For example, I set my Raspberry Pi's hostname to Raspberry Pi. Now running this command will display the IP address associated with that hostname on the same network. The IP address, you see the one currently assigned by your router. Now type this command and replace the IP address with yours or the hostname of Pi and enter the password. Now edit the SSH configuration file to extend the idle timeout limit for SSH connections. Uncomment the two specified lines. Now set the client alive interval to 1 million to keep the SSH connection active for several hours. Once you have made these changes, save them. Then run this command to update the source list, and if you see any package updates, run this command to upgrade them. It's time to overclock the Raspberry Pi. Now keep in mind this option is completely optional. Then type this command to edit boot configuration file. You can overclock the Raspberry Pi by adding specific arguments to this file. Now go to the bottom of this file. Then add these lines, which will adjust the CPU and GPU speeds as well as the voltage. For example, I have overclocked my CPU to 3000 MHz and my GPU to 850 MHz. Now please note that overclocking requires official power supply or a fast charger capable of delivering 3 amps or more to ensure stability. Now once you have made your changes, save the file, then reboot your Raspberry Pi 5 and reconnect to it. To verify the overclocked speed, type this command in the terminal. Initially, it might display 1500 MHz, but the CPU will utilize the maximum frequency when stressed. Now, your Raspberry Pi 5 is successfully overclocked to 3000 MHz, offering improved performance and stable experience. It's time to set up Ollama on Raspberry Pi 5. Open your favorite web browser and visit the Ollama website. Then click on the download button, select the Linux option, and copy this command. Now ensure the curl command is installed on your Raspberry Pi 5. Next, paste the copied command into the terminal and press enter to begin the installation. This process may take some time, so please be patient. Once it's complete, type Ollama list in the terminal to view the available models. Now at this point, you will see that aren't any models listed yet. Now let's start running LLM. For now, we will try TinyLlama by executing this command. Now once it's running, you can interact with TinyLlama and see that it responds as expected. Now let's test its storytelling ability by passing a prompt to write a 100-word story and observe how it performs. You can interrupt the model at any time by pressing Ctrl+C. To exit the model, simply press Ctrl+D. Now let's install the DeepSeek R1 1.5 billion model by running this command. If your Raspberry Pi 5 has more than 4 GB of RAM, you could even run the 7 billion model. However, in my case, my Pi 5 with 4 GB cannot handle the 7 billion model, so I have opted for the 1.5 billion model instead. And that's it, the model has been successfully downloaded and you will notice the prompt has changed. You can now interact with DeepSeek R1 locally. To stop a model from generating output, press Ctrl+C. To exit the model and return to the bash prompt, press Ctrl+D. It's time to set up OpenWEB UI, a chatbot interface for AI. To do so, first ensure that Python is installed on your Pi. Then visit the OpenWEB UI website, navigate to the manual installation section, and follow the steps to set up a UV environment. Now simply copy this command and paste it into your terminal. Next, configure the environment path for UV. Now copy this line and paste it into the terminal and execute the UV source for bash. Once UV is installed, setting up OpenWEB UI becomes straightforward. Now copy this command to set up the data directory environment variable, which helps prevent data loss. This process may take some time, so sit back, relax, and be patient. Once completed, the OpenWEB UI server will start running at port number 8080. Now your computer connected to the same network as your Pi 5. Open a web browser and enter this URL to access the web UI. Now go ahead and create an account. And that's it. Now we have a ChatGPT-like user interface. Now from the top left corner, you can select a model and start chatting just like you would do with ChatGPT. Now this step proves a fully private AI server running on your Raspberry Pi. Now as you can see, the DeepSeek R1 model works perfectly fine on the Raspberry Pi. To stop a model, simply click this button. You can also seamlessly switch between the models and continue chatting. Now let's set up one more model using Ollama. Once it's installed, reload the URL in your web browser. Then using the drop-down menu, you can select this model. And that's pretty much it. This is how you can create a private AI server with your Pi running LLMs using Ollama and OpenWEB UI. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KSKRIO. I will see you in the next one.